So we will continue, inshallah, until Salah. I'll try to summarize some of the chapters of this book. This book has a specific trajectory. It takes the reader through history first, and it describes how Shiaism was born as an idea, and then what splinter groups it was uh, split into. There were many, many splits. He mentions many, many groups of the Shias. For example, he talks about, okay, Ghali Shias or extreme Shias. They had 24 groups, and he mentions every single one of them in detail. Okay, then he talks about Itna Ashariya as well. Then in the second chapter, which is one of the most important chapters, more relevant today than ever before, how Shias deceive the masses to bring them into their religion. This is how they operated in India. This is how they managed to get so many numbers in India. Did you know there are more Shias in India today than they are in Iran? Okay, how did that happen? The largest number of 12ers anywhere in the world is in in India. The highest number, more than Pakistan and Iran and Iraq and Lebanon. The highest population of 12ers in the world today is in India. And how did that happen? This is why this book was written, because it was spreading. People were being deceived. So Shah Abdul Aziz, rahmullah, documents, Allahu Akbar, how many ways that they bring people into their religion? 106. 106 methods. Can you believe it? Here, look. If you look at the list, it goes on and on and on. And this is a study of behavior, of methodology, of literature, of theology as to how 12ers, their scholars, their propagandists deceive common Muslims to bring them into their religion. We were talking about the Ahmadi community earlier, how the Murabbis play games with the Quran and the Hadith to bring people into their religion. You can write a book on their methodology and their ways as well. Here, Shah Abdul Aziz, this is why this book is one of the most important books. You will not find this treatment, this scientific, meticulous study of 12er methodology to bring people into their religion more than this book. Okay, so to give you a few examples very quickly, and if our salah is delayed by a few minutes, please don't worry. We're going to pray, inshallah. But I want to go through this very, very quickly. Okay, so how do they actually bring people into their religion? Okay, so first Shah Abdul Aziz, okay, he explains the methodology. Okay, then the claims. I'm going to read randomly some headings, and you can see. So they make certain claims to deceive the Ahl Sunnah, common, ignorant, gullible Sunnis, that you guys believe in this and we don't believe in that. For example, okay, Ahl Sunnah Khuda ko Tariqul Wajib mante hain. Ahl Sunnah, right? They consider God someone who leaves off obligations, right? Okay, and they will quote something from our Sunni books, and a gullible common Sunni doesn't know how to respond to that. Okay, for example, okay, अहल सुन्नत का इसमत अंबिया के निस्बत गलत अकीदा है. The way Ahl Sunnah believe in the infallibility of the Prophet is incorrect. So they will open a chapter there and they will start to, okay, Ahl Sunnah, they believe that the Anbiya commit sins, for example. It's a trap. It's a trap question. 5-6 के अलावा तमाम सहाबा अहले बैत से बुग़्ज़ रखते थे. Apart from 5-6 Sahaba, all other companions of the Prophet, they hated the Ahlul Bayt. So these are all traps, trap questions. They throw these traps, open a conversation, and start putting doubts in the minds of gullible Sunnis. Okay, then they will claim that the religion, the 12 religion is true, and Ahl Sunnah are upon batil. Then they will claim that the three caliphs of the three caliphs, they tempered the Quran. Okay, then they will even forge reports in the love of Ali bin Abi Talib. They have forged tons and tons and tons of reports in the books. Then Shah Abdul Aziz also mentions that some of them will go to such lengths that they will join Sunni institutions, study in them for years, and then come out and get a degree, and they will say, you know what, I was this and this, I'm a mufti, I'm a Maulana, I'm a sheikh, and now I'm Shia. Shiaism is true, I accepted it. Shah Abdul Aziz mentions that this was happening. Okay, we have an example of that today. There are a few examples in Pakistan. There is this chap called Mufti Fazal Hamdard. Yeah, the guy is wearing a topi like Sunnis. He dresses like Sunnis. He goes, I'm a Mufti. I was trained in a Sunni seminary. I am now, and he doesn't say I'm Shia, but everything that comes from his mouth is 12-er propaganda. Then we have this guy called Engineer Muhammad Ali Mirza. He will never say I'm Shia, but everything comes from his mouth is 12-er propaganda. For all practical reasons, he's a Rafidi. He insults the Sahaba. He has insulted Aisha radiallahu anha, calling her zalim. She was an oppressor. He insults Muawiyah radiallahu anhu in extreme language. And those who love Muawiyah because he was a companion of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he calls them Mamu Party. Mamu Party. Those who know Urdu, they know what that means. Right? So there are individuals today in Pakistan who are dressed like Sunnis, but everything that comes from their mouth is 12-er propaganda. And Shah Abdul Aziz highlighted this 250 years ago in this book, Tuhfa Sharia. The problem is our ignorance. We don't know how these people work. We don't know even our own sources. Most of us here, I don't think, have read this book or even know about it. Unfortunately, there's no English translation of it to save our people, right, from these traps. And there are so many other, I can't go through all 106 traps they use. You're going to have to check out the book. Okay. Then he also goes through the history of the Aslaf, the elders, the founders of the 12-er religion. He mentions a lot of them. Okay. Then he talks about the types of hadith. Chapter 4 is about the types of hadith the Shias have and their chains, the type of people in the chains. So he goes through the Rijal. This is very unique for 18th century. Prior to this, a scientific study to this depth wasn't conducted by a Sunni scholar. This is why it was such a devastating blow to the 12ers. They had no idea what to do about it. The Nawabs, some of the very powerful princely rulers in India, were 12ers, Shia. And they got their scholars and they paid them money. Do something. Get scholars from Iran. Write a response. We are losing people. And they said, we can't. And they attempted 25. As you said, 25th is attempted because 24 were not enough. Right? So this is the reason. The reason is Shah Abdul Aziz pulled the rug from the feet, the very feet of 12er religion. Okay, he completely took away all their foundations and dismantled them systematically. This is why this book is so important. Okay, then the 5th chapter is about Masail Ilahiyat, how the Shias believe in Allah and how we differ in those beliefs. Okay, how the Shia beliefs about Allah are so crazy, so erroneous that any sane person cannot possibly come to believe in those things by yourself. You have to be conditioned to believe that stuff, right? One of the aqaid, one of the beliefs he highlights is the aqidah of bada, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bada. What is bada? Allah changes his mind. Allah, this is like Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani, right? Yeah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani, Allah changed his mind so many times in the writings. So Mirza, Taqdeer Mubram and Taqdeer Muallaq, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani, he would make a prophecy, and when it would fail, he would claim Allah changed his mind. But still he would hope that it would happen. And he died desiring all those prophecies be fulfilled, but none of them. Imtiaz Bhai makes this claim very powerfully. Not one prophecy of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani came true. Not one. Not one. He wrote, even if one was unfulfilled, I'm a liar. But even not one was fulfilled. That's not the. So here, the 12ers believe that Allah had bada. How? Remember, I mentioned earlier the debates that were going on about choosing imams, who is going to be the next imam. So, according to the 12 sources, Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq had already announced that after him, who will be the imam? Ismail. His son, Ismail, who is older than Musa Kadhim. Okay? So, Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, how is he speaking? He's speaking on the authority of Allah. Because who appoints the imam to the Shias? Who appoints the imam? Allah. Just like prophets are appointed by Allah, imams are also appointed by Allah. So Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq announced within his life that after me, imam will be Ismail. Guess what? Ismail dies. When Ismail died, all the people, all the followers of Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, they had to come up with an explanation. Because now the imam will have to be Musa Kazim. So because the declaration came from Allah, and Allah killed Ismail radiallahu an, okay, rahmatullah alayh, Allah took him. So how did they respond to this? Because now everyone is believing that Allah is the one who made the declaration. Allah is the one who declared it. They came up with this belief called Allah had bada. Bada is Allah changed his mind. Allah changed his mind, therefore Musa Kazim is going to be the next imam. Allah changed his mind. As if Allah does not. Now this Aqidah in itself is kufr. Why? You know why? Because it assumes a position that Allah doesn't know the future. If Allah had known the future, He would never make the declaration, because He is the one who is. Allah would know that He will change His mind. Yes or no? If Allah knows the future, which Allah does, He would know that He will change His mind. So He wouldn't make that false declaration. But because this happened and the Imam's appointment was not from Allah, clearly, okay, they came up with this Aqidah. So Shah Abdul Aziz indulges in that discussion and exposes how erroneous some of these beliefs about Allah are. Then he also addresses 12 religions take on Anbiya and Iman in the Anbiya. And there's a long, Allahu Akbar, long, amazing details. Then he also describes the Aqidah of Imamat with the 12ers, how an Imam becomes an Imam and what does this Imama constitute and who is an Imam and what is the position of Imam, okay, in Shia religion, okay. So he talks about that to them Imam has to be infallible like a prophet. To them Imam has to be infallible. Imam is ma'soom. Imam cannot make a mistake, cannot sin, right? So he goes into that and he breaks these aqaid with dalail. And one of the most powerful things about this book is actually Shah Abdul Aziz does not always use Sunni sources to refute 12 claims. He brings 12 sources to break their own beliefs. Just like Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani is the best refutation of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani, right? Just like that, 12 religion is the best religion, best refutation of itself. Okay, so Shah Abdul Aziz does that. Okay, so he also goes into some of the masail on how the Shias attack the Sahaba. Okay, now you can look at the list. Okay, Mata'in about Abu Bakr, and he responds to them. Mata'in, yani ta'an, basically criticism and condemnation of Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Aisha, and there's a long list of responses. What is the ta'an? What is the accusation? What is the claim? And then he responds powerfully, very, very powerful responses that we cannot possibly go through. For example, I'll give you one example. Qissai Qartas. Okay, that Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anh deliberately prevented the Prophet ﷺ from writing that advice on that catastrophic Thursday. They call it the catastrophic Thursday. Okay, the catastrophe of Thursday. And what is the catastrophe? The Qissa of Qartas. When the Prophet ﷺ was ill and he requested a pen and an ink pot. And Umar said, leave Rasulullah, he's not well, let him rest. Other Sahaba said he wants to write some advice. Okay, let him be. Let him write, because we will be deprived of important advice. Umar said, no, he's ill, he's in pain, leave him. And when they argued with each other, the Prophet said, leave the room. And Shah Abdul Aziz in detail explains how the Shia case doesn't work. Because you see, remember I told you in Kufa, this religion was made against the Sahaba. They came to hate the Sahaba and they made up stories and they went through the Sunni sources very carefully, meticulously, picking on incidents to spin them in their own way. So they found these reports in Sahih Bukhari, for example. You see how evil Umar is? Billah, how evil he is. He deprived the Prophet ﷺ from writing this. So Shah Abdul Aziz responds that, first of all, this goes against the Prophet himself. You're saying the Prophet failed to convey the message Allah had given him. Number one, the condemnation is not of Umar, it is the Prophet's. Because Allah tells the Prophet ﷺ, "Balligh ma unzila ilayk," deliver what has been revealed upon you and do not fear them. So you're condemning the Prophet, number one. Number two, the Prophet lived for another 3 days after Thursday. He died on Monday, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was put on the mimbar, and he gave the advice that was due to be given, and that advice was لعن الله اليهود والنصارى اتخذوا قبور أنبيائهم مساجد. May Allah's curse be upon the Yahud and Nasara. Why? They have built masajid on the graves of the Anbiya. This was the advice the Prophet ﷺ wanted to give, which he gave on the mimbar within those 3 days. So Shah Abdul Aziz goes through all the responses, very powerful responses that can be used today. So Uthman radiallahu anh, one of the mata'in, for example, number one is that Uthman appointed his relatives who were oppressors to powerful positions. When Uthman was the caliph, he appointed many of his relatives to powerful positions. I know the salah time is coming close, so we're going to have to end inshallah very, very soon. So to cut the long story short, my brothers and sisters, those of you who are watching, you must get your hands on this book, Tuhfa Ithna Ashariya, if you are serious on the 12 religion and how to engage with them, with love and compassion, of course. There's no hate here. I don't know why this book is banned in Pakistan. Allegedly, I mean, I've been told, I don't know, I have to still confirm that this book is banned in Pakistan. There is a summarized version available in English. There is a summarized version available in English, inshallah. Okay. There is also a summarized version available in Arabic, and it is originally in Persian, and there is a complete translation in the Urdu language. If you know the Urdu language, you're in for a deal, right? Okay. So this book has been banned in Pakistan. Now you can see how much influence the Twelvers have in Pakistan, that they can get. It's an academic book. There is no hatred in it. There is absolutely no hatred. It deals with their sources head on, explaining how to refute some of the ideas. And the book is an encyclopedia information. These are 2 volumes because they were printed, but it's actually 1 volume, right? In Urdu and in Persian. Get your hands on it. If you don't have it, get down to translating it. This may be your greatest service to Islam. If you have nothing to do, or if you have little to do, then do this. Okay? Translate this work and reference it, because it has thousands of references. So we need references. We need someone to do tahqiq, to research, to make it palatable, to make it readable for the common people today, so that they can be protected against all of these shubahat and this onslaught. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope I did justice to this topic. There was a lot to talk about. I think just on this book, if I start talking on the contents, it's going to take 5 lectures, maybe the minimum 5, right? So inshallah next time. Jazakumullahu khairan walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.